The flight was fine, and I hadn't seen James in a while. He's really embraced this whole California vibe. There's even a Tesla Model X parked outside. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Not bad, James. Wow, oh my god, he's gone full Malibu. You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas, and I'm James, and this is the Tesla Model X Plaid. This means they've equipped the Model X with the same tri-motor, 1020 horsepower system as the Model S Plaid, which gives this 6-seat SUV a quarter-mile time of 9.9 seconds and a 0 to 60 time of just 2.5 seconds. As it stands, it has a range of 311 miles and costs about $130,000. While that price might be jaw-dropping at first glance, considering its power and the improvements made inside and out, this could actually be the least expensive way to get the ultimate SUV. Let's find out. A huge thanks to Jerry Rogoff, who not only lent us his Wrangler to make fun of in our FJ review but also let us borrow his brand new Model X Plaid for this one. What a guy. If you're new to us, we do car reviews, track tests, and a lot of messing around, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Let's take a moment to revisit what the word plaid really means. It's mind-bogglingly, ridiculously fast, to the point where no other car can touch it. We've driven Aventador SVJs, Lamborghini Huracan STOs, and I just drove a McLaren 720S last week. Excuse my French, but this car blows all of them out of the water. Of course, it doesn't do all the things those cars do, but it does have a major advantage: it fits 6 people comfortably. 6 people who can get sick at any moment, thanks to its raw power. I never thought I'd be driving a 5,400-pound SUV that's the second fastest car I've ever driven, right after the Model S Plaid. But even though it's heavy, Tesla has made it aerodynamic, and as we've learned with electric vehicles, cutting through the air is key. The Tesla Model S used to hold the title of the car with the lowest drag coefficient at 0.21, but that got surpassed by the EQS and the Lucid Air. As it stands now, the Model X Plaid has a drag coefficient of 0.24, making it the SUV with the lowest drag coefficient ever. Now, we've established that any Plaid model is excellent when it comes to going forward, but braking isn't the strongest suit of these cars. As many of you saw in my Model S Plaid video, the lack of sufficient braking power has been a common issue, and many Tesla Plaid models have been involved in accidents because of this, as I predicted. It's not that the braking system lacks initial stopping power, it actually has as much stopping power as any large SUV on the road. The issue is that these cars can accelerate so quickly and so frequently that your brain has to recalibrate in order to gauge how much braking is needed and how early you need to apply it to avoid hitting something, like Jason and Randy proved in that episode of Icons on Haggerty. However, the thermal capacity of the brakes is something to keep in mind. If you repeatedly perform hard stops in these 5,500 to 6,000 pound vehicles, you'll eventually cook the brake fluid, destroy the brake pads, and glaze the rotors. These cars are not designed for track use, and they're not even built for consistent 0 to 60 runs followed by hard braking. If you own one of these, please be aware of this, as it's an important PSA. Now, it may sound like I'm picking on Tesla, and I kind of am, but the truth is, this issue is common in many EVs. Manufacturers often upgrade the speed in the sport models without addressing other key components like bigger brakes, stiffer suspensions, or better tires. It's tempting to just turn the dial so the batteries push more power to make the car go faster, which leads to more sales and allows them to slap an S badge on it. But there's more to a car than just speed, there's the entire driving experience. That said, this is a Model X, and it's built for cruising through Malibu, driving to Whole Foods, charging at home, and saying, "Oh, I've got a Tesla." But surprisingly, it handles this canyon road really well. The yoke steering wheel might be dumb, but I can still feel the front tires. Honestly, I think it drives better than the Model 3, very flat through the corners and managing its mass very well. The power is smooth and overwhelming. Just half throttle is enough to make you feel it. We were driving a Bentayga south around the same road earlier this morning, and this feels more confident than that, thanks to its low center of gravity. Alright, I did it. Oh no, wait, yeah, just click it, and there we go. Now, let's talk about how this car looks, because for some reason, I keep thinking this is a Model Y. I know that sounds weird when I say it out loud, but it's actually a good-looking SUV. What do you think? I think it looks great. They've hardly changed it, which I think is intentional, so that original owners don't feel like they need to upgrade too soon. But they have made a few improvements. The signature, staple remover, metal stripes are gone, and it looks cleaner. Also, while our audience may have noticed, this isn't the factory color, it's been wrapped. It was black and now it's a chalky gray, which actually works really well with the black accents, like the handles. They've also cleaned up the back a bit. They haven't changed much on the exterior, but the subtle tweaks are for the better. Open your door, I'm going to open mine. The doors look their best when they're in Falcon mode, don't you think? It's still a pretty cool feature. The 22-inch wheels do cost a bit more and slightly reduce the range compared to the 20-inch wheels, but it's a cool look. It feels a bit smaller than the previous Model X, doesn't it? Maybe it's just because we've grown over time. Everyone feels that way as they get older, they look back and everything seems smaller. I remember standing next to my grandma's dining table as a kid, thinking it was huge, and now it looks small. But anyway, I think the Model X is a very attractive SUV, and those doors remain a standout feature. Although the design is great, I feel like the overall look lacks a bit of identity. It still reminds me of the Model Y. We attended a Tesla meet, and it was interesting. We didn't arrive in a Tesla, we arrived in a Kona Electric. The Tesla owners were excited because it was a different car in the mix. There were all the Model XS together, all the Model YS together, and all the Model 3s grouped. It almost felt like a dealership. Now let's talk about the inside. I've gotten used to the automatic doors. I like them more than I did with the Rolls-Royce's automatic doors, which were loud. These Falcon doors are quiet, like stealth hunters, which I find kind of neat. But the interior has a completely new feel. Oh my God, James, you broke the steering wheel. Yeah, I say a lot about this wheel, but even now, sitting here, it gives off a video game vibe, and it's fun. It's one of those things where you can't help but grin. But as cool as it is, practicality must sometimes take precedence over coolness. The steering wheel, for example, is difficult to maneuver in tight spaces. You're just missing your hand placements. It's fine for normal driving, but if you need to make an emergency maneuver, it becomes tricky, especially when you're in a panic. We've also noticed some small issues with the doors, they open violently, which can be a bit startling. But besides that, the panoramic roof and windshield are fantastic. Compared to the Lucid, which we were just in, this is executed much better. The side windows are mounted, so when they're down, you have a completely unobstructed view. The screen is another feature worth noting. Tesla has switched from the vertical to the horizontal screen, which I think looks great. The inside of this car feels much more refined compared to older models. The materials are high quality, and the white leather looks cool, though, as we've seen in the past, it does get dirty quickly, so you'll need to keep it clean. There are a few design elements we miss from the previous model, like the curved door designs with ambient lighting, which they've done away with. But overall, it's a clean interior. The screen is still central to everything in the car, and while it's mostly functional, it's still entirely controlled via software, which can be a bit frustrating at times when it freezes. But for the most part, it works smoothly. The seating configuration is unique to the Plaid model, and the back seats are something special. The floating design of the seats reminds me of something from the original Alien movie. There's so much about this car that's impressive, and even though I don't care for the Plaid version, the base Model X is just over $100,000. That's a $40,000 saving compared to some other luxury SUVs, like the Bentayga S, which costs $260,000. Even with the imperfections, like the misaligned panels or the slightly subpar build quality, you're still getting a lot for your money. It's like those ugly fruits you can find at the market. Sure, they have imperfections, but they still taste great. In conclusion, the Model X Plaid isn't perfect, but it's more impressive than we expected. It's not just a master of acceleration, it's composed in the canyons, it's comfortable with a full cabin, and thanks to its added utility over the Model S, it might just be our favorite Tesla yet. Thanks for watching.